Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh Show, if Scott was there. This is episode number 1. Yep, I believe that Rush warranted this episode today. As I was listening, he was spending a good deal of time talking about Obama and this Dr. Benjamin Carson at the National Prayer Breakfast. And he was playing a recording and talking about what this Dr. Benjamin Carson said to Obama in his monologue, making helpful suggestions on how to craft more effective policy. And I noticed how excited Rush was, and he was asking, because frankly, this Dr. Carson made some very cogent points, and he articulated them quite well, and Rush was giving him plaudits and pointing out the fact that there are very few people in Congress who have the ability to say this in such an effective manner, and also to do so to the president. And he was asking the question of where are these people? And that's a fair question. Look, I'm not trying to burst anyone's bubble. I actually have a purpose. It reminds me, just going back to Ron Paul's farewell address, talking about how freedom should not be such a difficult sale to make to the people. But freedom is a hard sell, and there's a reason. When you have a nation of degenerates, they are not interested in hearing ideas that work. The idea will not resonate. We are a culture that all we care about is food, entertainment, and orgasms. Not necessarily in that order, though. It doesn't really matter to most people. They're coming home from work. They're tired. They're not thinking about the fact that they just worked a third or half the day to pay for government. All they want to know is what's for dinner, when is dinner. They want to know who's playing who tonight, and they're concerned about their physical, temporal pleasures. They don't care. Yes, it's exciting to hear somebody speak up to Obama and to share these great ideas that Dr. Benjamin Carson shared about health savings accounts. I love health savings accounts. I used to have one. They make so much sense. It's a great vehicle. But the thing is, we're really being naive to think that Obama's sitting there taking this in and is objectively thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to take that into consideration. It is an absolute unmitigated waste of time to try to educate Obama on effectual policy. Everything that Dr. Benjamin Carson said was 100% true and compelling. But I believe that Barack Obama probably agrees with Dr. Carson. I have no doubt that Obama agrees that what Dr. Carson said those suggestions would achieve 100% of what he's contending. But the problem is Obama is not interested in policy that works. Obama is not interested in saving Social Security and Medicare. Obama is interested in death panels. It's so naive to ascribe the values of, let's say, conservatives, Christians, God-fearing people. Where we're going wrong is ascribing the values of our own onto this man and onto any Democrat. They might very well 100% believe that our policies would work, but their agenda is totally contrary to ours. They want death panels. Evil is as evil does. I know it's hard to embrace. We want to deny that there are people that really, truly represent and embrace evil. But you want to know where these people are coming from? Go read the Georgia Guidestones. And if you're not familiar with the Georgia Guidestones, Google the Georgia Guidestones and read what's on them. And you'll see the sick worldview expatiated, one by one, enumerated on these Guidestones, and what their absolute agenda is. They like things like eugenics, population control. They want to bring the world's population down to 500 million. These are sick, nefarious people. So don't sit there and think that you're going to teach Barack Obama something new about how we can balance the budget and how we can save Social Security and Medicare and how we can better create a medical system and bring costs under control. They're laughing at you inside. That is not what they want. If they wanted to do that, these are intelligent people. They would adopt the common sense policies that we are propounding year after year after year. It's about control. They're evil people. They want to be your masters. Obama wants to be your master. He wants you to be property of the state. Serving super state, you are no more than super ape. That is your role in life. He's elite. Nancy Pelosi believes she's elite. Chuck Schumer believes he's elite. Harry Reid believes he's elite. These are not people with good intentions. These are all relative terms. Stop ascribing your own values on theirs. These are godless people. These are humanists, people who worship themselves. They are narcissists. They believe they are God. And if you can't accept that, you're just going to waste a lot more time. And the more time you waste, the more likely you are going to find yourselves in shackles. So, I have a great deal of veneration for Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck, and over the years I've listened to them both respectively since their beginnings, and on a daily basis I really enjoy their company on my smartphone. But occasionally I don't have time to call them anymore, and occasionally I want to inveigh upon some things that I think are worthy of discussion, hence the blog. But it's time to get real, folks. I was reading in Federalist 28 the other day. Alexander Hamilton was talking about assuring the public that the central government, the way this is designed, the general government could not be a threat to the liberties of the people so long as the people understand their rights. And that's the problem. They don't care. We're not at the place any longer, and we're deluding ourselves if we think that the answer is to speak reason. We have to accept the fact that our culture is gone. Our culture is depraved. People are forgetting we have this capacity to be in denial. It's a defense mechanism. They tell ourselves everything's going to be okay. We could just go about the status quo. There's going to be another election. We forgot about all the things that we said that were at stake if Obama is reelected. We forgot about the fact that this election happened. We daily wake up and tell ourselves that everything's just like it was back in 1998. There was the positive wealth effect. That's all over. It was all credit-based. It was a bubble. It's time to pay the piper now. We need to understand that the culture is gone, and we need to act accordingly. We need to focus on our states. We need to focus on our local government. This is a recurring theme here. That is the only hope that we have. Stop wasting time thinking that Marco Rubio is going to save this country. It isn't going to happen. You focus on that instead of what you should be focusing on, then you're diverted. You're living in denial, and you're wasting time that could be spent on useful pursuits like saving your state, protecting your family, preserving your assets, working together with other God-fearing states and God-fearing individuals, and congregate together, stick together. That's what we need to be focusing on. Look, I'm in Florida, lived here for the past 18 years. I followed Marco Rubio. I was hosting talk radio here back when he was in the legislature, House Speaker. He has pros and cons. He's not the savior. People are getting already caught up in this cult of personality on the GOP side. He's the next Mitt Romney. People are already capitulating. They're assigning their affections to him. They're listening to the bull crap. And they're coronating this guy, despite the fact that there are going to be more qualified, more conservative candidates. It's over. The battle's being set up. The conservatives will be supporting Rand Paul. I'm very impressed with Rand Paul. He looks like the guy, the genuine article, with the private sector experience as a physician And as a true patriot, he's the guy that the conservatives are going to coalesce around. And we're going to get screwed over again. And if we stay in the GOP, screw the GOP. The conservatives are going to get screwed over again by Karl Rove and Fox News. I said this back when Obama was elected the first time in 2008, that we were going to get screwed over. Conservatives were going to get screwed by Fox and Karl Rove and Dick Morris and all these rhinos, these imposters who enrich themselves. And I said that all the conservatives were going to be diluted, or there's going to be a dilution among the conservative candidates, and that they would get Romney elected. And I wrote that back in 2009. It's time-stamped, documented. I said verbatim what was going to happen. It happened, and I'm telling you right now, Rand Paul will earn. He is the rightful conservative presidential candidate. But we're going to get screwed over by the wannabe kingmakers who have never failed to screw over this country for their own enrichment, to get their own imposter elected.
I have a question. I have a question for those who don't respect and won't protect life. Can a nation long endure that does not respect the sanctity of life? Can a nation conceived in liberty carry its head high if it denies protection to the youngest and most vulnerable of its citizens? Can a country founded on God-given rights continue to thrive without understanding that life is a precious gift from our Creator? I believe that great nations and great civilizations spring from a people who have a moral compass. Our nation is adrift in a wilderness where right and wrong have become subservient to a hedonism of the moment. I believe our country is in need of a revival. I believe our country is in need of a spiritual cleansing. As a physician, I have looked into the eyes of 1-pound babies. I have cradled their small bodies in the palm of one hand. I defy those who are careless, who would disregard life. I defy them to come to the neonatal nursery with me and look at these tiny little miracles and say, we're not going to protect that. We all want change. We march today for change, but change will only come when we begin to change attitudes. We must preach a gospel so full of compassion, a gospel so full of justice that it cannot be resisted. Then and only then will the law again protect the innocent. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Ryan.